We got wild times ahead here. Some big news came today. We're going to talk about it all. We got patch 10.0.7 confirmed for the 21st of March, 1 week later than I originally anticipated. And I did want to quickly talk about that because I was worried that there was not going to be enough time for a full PTR cycle for 9.1 or 10.1. Still in challenge. 10.1. But they're already starting. So this is all stuff about 10.1, continuing our journey deep beneath the Dragon Isles in pursuit of primal incarnate Frike. New zone, new raid, new Mythic Plus dungeon rotation, including the remaining 4 Dragonflight dungeons. So we confirmed on that, although it seems like we don't have any more info on all that. New system updates, including cross-faction guilds. This early in the expansion. I'm very, very, very interested in seeing that. So very big news there. But more, the cross-faction, is there any actual additional thing? Cross-faction guild, probably like the biggest feature in the game that still needs to come. Do we have any info here? Freehold is, oh wait, what is this? The Mythic 2, the Season 2 Mythic Plus Dungeon Rotation has been announced. And Freehold is back? Oh my god. I made a video on this a while ago as well. Nathan's Lair, Freehold, Underrot, and Vortex Pinnacle. Oh, there's been a lot of talk about this Vortex Pinnacle thing. Where has that come from? Where does that talk come from? Because people were telling me this. I don't know about Cataclysm, guys. I really don't. This is a terrible decision in my eyes, but 3 great dungeons. So if this is, who fucking knows what's going to happen with Vortex Pinnacle. That was never even a challenge mode. That was never even a challenge. Like, I don't even know what that dungeon has in it. I've never done it in a competitive atmosphere. So that'll be interesting. But so yeah, the rotation, Halls of Infusion, which is going to be very difficult. Brackentide Hollow, which people are going to love, especially now that they can compare it side by side with Freehold, which was like the original dungeon that everybody loved. The different routes and the high volume trash. They're so well paired against each other. And yeah, Nathan's Lair, a lot of people suggested that this is going to be kind of awkward because we have Neltharian's Lair and also Neltharius. So this is, think about the like the group thing, like Nelth 20. Which Nelth? Like I could see which Nelth. So it's going to be 2 dungeons with the same name now. So, but yeah, in terms of dungeons that are selected from season to season, to try to tie into those what's happening with Dragonflight's story, definitely not coincidence. So that really leads you into thinking that we can predict a lot of this. I have no idea how the Vortex Pinnacle has anything to do with this dungeon. And certainly I can't imagine what Freehold does either. What this season, I mean. But Neltharian's Lair, like you pointed out, there's definitely not a coincidence. Embers on Neltharion. We have a dungeon from Legion called Neltharian's Lair. It also has a Drogbar in it. And they're making an appearance again in Zeralik Cavern. So we felt like that one was a slam dunk. Vortex Pinnacle also feels like it has some story beats and implications to follow up there, but there are also some that are just fan favorites. Vortex Pinnacle is from 12 years ago, probably more at this point. So I don't know what story beats and implications there could be. I cannot even imagine Cataclysm dungeons. If they're actually considering Cataclysm dungeons, all the people have been talking about Dead Mines. I apologize. Anyway, Brackenhide and dungeon difficulty. And this is such a stupid. In a follow-up answer, a question from Jez at Windows Central. What the fuck is that? Morgan Day also mentioned that they are aware of current feedback regarding Brackenhide and other dungeons that are planning to make fully. On top of that, trust us, we've heard the feedback around, hey, when season 2 rounds, if you've done Brackenhide on 0 the first week, it was pretty hard. They already actually, why would you even, like, just say, no, hey, we already tuned it, bro. Like, what? They already tuned it. So definitely taking a close look at individual dungeons and probably cutting some things that are existing today in Mythic 0 and really asking, once the fixes are in the mix, do you really need to have 3 creatures that all need to have a kick rotation? That's how Mythic Plus works. Yeah, cool. All right, Morgan Day. Yeah. Good. Anyway, cool. They're obviously not gonna let one dungeon that's already been in the game come in the exact state it's been in. So surely they won't do that. But yeah, anyway, this is pretty big. This is the big one here. Okay, no seasonal affix in Dragonflight Season 2. So guess what, guys? You won. I mean, to all the people who are saying they should have no affixes, like I said, that's never gonna happen. But I think this is the best case scenario. So let's read this whole post. Seasonal affixes were added in BFA to change up gameplay from season to season, as the dungeons didn't change. From Infested to Thundering, seasonal affixes have been loved and hated while adding varying levels of complexity. Thundering has particularly added quite a bit of complexity to the dungeons, having to weave in clears between mechanics which force you to spread, with a severe punishment of death for failure. And to be honest, dude, I think Thundering was fine. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It wasn't my favorite affix ever. It wasn't my least favorite ever. I think it was balanced, and I thought that that was the formula moving forward. But I think they have just drawn out, like they're done. They have no better options at this point, so it's time for them to just tap out, I guess, is what they're doing, and that's, I guess, respectable. Blizzard have felt that they might not need a seasonal fix at all to change dungeons from season to season. So, in an answer to this person from some website that I've never heard of, Morgan Day announced that no affixes will be added at the Keystone level. Okay, let's read this because that's a bit of a weird terminology to use there. In terms of the philosophy of affixes in particular for Season 2, we've definitely taken a big step back there and are looking at it holistically. One major change we're making is we're actually just not going to have a level 10 affix. That is to say, the seasonal affix, like Thundering, there won't be a replacement for Thundering, and Thundering is being retired. Okay, so at the level 10 level, the scaling will continue to kick in, but there will be no new affix there. So I guess I thought they might have been like a misunderstanding, and he was saying it's going to start at 20, because I was actually thinking that would be the place that they should start adding the seasonal fix. Then it would get all these casuals out of this conversation, because honestly, you can't really have this conversation. This whole fix, you can't have it with people who barely do Mythic Plus and people who do 30s. Like they're not coming at it from the same perspective, and it's just confusing the conversation. So I was thinking they might change it to make it so it starts at 20. But anyway, we would add 1 or 2 dungeons here and there, but missed some. Seasonal fixes were created as an idea when we had the same dungeon pool. We would add 1 or 2 dungeons. We really wanted to add those seasonal fixes to solve the problem of feeling like dungeons were solved, like there was a specific route and there was a specific way everyone approached the dungeon. Seasonal fixes were there to mix that up and change the way you approach the dungeon. Great. Yeah, so we did just talk about this on stream. Going into Dragonflight, we were like, well, we don't need to solve that problem anymore, but maybe there's a way to add some amount of gameplay that feels like a more persistent element of the dungeon. Ultimately, we heard a lot of feedback around complexity, like how much stuff do I have to do now to do, and what's going on, and how many wrenches are you going to throw at me? Not even just dodgeballs, but wrenches we're throwing at you that you have to deal with. Definitely taking a really close look at that with Season 2. So there you go. No seasonal affix. First impression, to be honest, like, I don't know. I really don't. I really don't know if I have a first impression on it, because the seasonal fix was such a big part of Mythic Plus for so long that I don't know what it's going to be like. There's more though. The level 7 bucket affix set will have a refresh. Affixes have always been a popular community topic, but especially recently, with many players feeling frustrated at some of the weekly Mythic affixes, such as Grievous and Quaking. With the difficulty and complexity of the dungeons and Dragonflight going up, having to also deal with these affixes had been even more troublesome. In a follow-up to this same fucking person, announcing they are looking at the level 7 affix bucket. So that's Quaking, Grievous, Volcanic, Storming, and Explosive. And when you put it in that order, you're like, holy shit, yeah, they really do need to take a look at them. Then we're really taking a closer look at the level 7 bucket and how much opportunity there is for counterplay. How much of it is making your healer's life harder versus how much of it is there an opportunity where if I play really well, I can negate the affix and use my utility really well, or whatever it is. So we're definitely taking a look at the whole level 7 bucket. So really more along the lines of a refresh, as well as no level 10 affix. So yeah, I mean, like the problems people have with Quaking and I guess to some degree Grievous, and like, are those going to get solved by taking away the seasonal affix? Not really. I mean, Thundering and Quaking were bad together, I suppose, but that's about it. So no, I mean, I don't really think. I think they're gonna have their hands full to keep things balanced. But I think they're onto something here. And you know what, dude? They're winning me back to their side with the whole dungeon refresh thing, like making new dungeons every season. Because now when you put it that way, when you make it obvious to me that they're doing this, they're getting rid of things to make this better. Like they're actually willing to change the fundamental formula for Mythic Plus to make this concept better. Well, you know what, man? You know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're not doing as bad of a job as I thought they were. Maybe they are all in on this topic. Maybe the balance is just perception. And I have to admit it. You know what I mean? I think the problems I had with especially Shadow and Battleground, they're gone now, man. Like that dungeon is not going well at all. Every time I do it, it's not an easy key anymore. I just assumed it was the player base, but I think it was more balanced than I gave it credit for the whole time. So maybe this is working better than I would give it credit for, but as long as they're all in on this, because that was the only thing that scared me about this, man. You can't go 8 weeks into a season and still have balance problems with dungeons. Like, it's just not okay when you only have another 16 weeks max of the season coming. Like, that's just not going to cut it. So as long as they can keep their head up above water on this and not fall behind on all of these dungeons, like now you're doing a Cataclysm dungeon, that's scary to me, man. That's scary to me. But I love it. I love seeing this. Let's see if there's any new posts. I'm very interested in seeing exactly what comes from this. There's probably a ton more info even by now, but okay, this is the article that they were referencing in the other post. So let me know what you guys think, man. This is a big news. We don't have any patch date, of course, for that patch, but we talked about what the repercussions of 10.0.7 coming out would mean for 10.0.1. So make sure you check that video if you want to have that conversation there. Otherwise, we'll see you guys soon, man. This is wild all of a sudden, man. I really have to say that.